Greetings ladies and gents, and welcome to today's Reddit Quickie video, taken from the HFY subreddit called One of Us, written by LgFatherAnthrocite. The link to the original will be listed down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Please note that there is a warning from the author that this may be a little graphic, so be careful. Rend was sore everywhere. He groaned a little as he tried to sit up. He opened his eyes slowly and looked around. He was in a small room, apparently made of cement. It was too cold and he wanted to sleep, but he forced himself to do an assessment. All limbs and joints moved, not bleeding, minor cuts and scrapes, and what felt like a nasty bump on the left side of his skull. All of his equipment is gone except for his uniform. He sat in the room for several hours and was just starting to think that he was going to pass out from the cold when the door opened. A human came in and started speaking in a language Rend couldn't understand. He pointed a gun at Rend and waved it towards the door. Rend slowly stood and shuffled towards the door. The chill in the room had taken its toll on his muscles, and he had stiffened up a lot without the heater that was part of his gear loadout. Rend headed down the hall, followed by the human with the gun. He was taken to another room, one with a furnace in it. Before he could get warmed up, though, he was shackled wrist and ankle with chains set in the wall. He was left alone in the room for an hour, by which time he had warmed up enough to be fully awake. He was testing the chains with the door open, and a group of men came in. Some carried guns, others carried what looked like furniture. Rend was forced into a chair and bound to it with rope. Another human leaned in and said, "You are an invader and you are not welcome here, in Galactic Common." Rend looked at him with contempt. "I was born in Spain, you jackass," he replied. The man turned to the length of rubber hose from the table it had brought in, and slammed it into Rend's torso. Rend gasped out in breath. "You are an invader. Admit it, you came to steal our world, say it." The man continued to hit Rend in the thighs, arms, and torso as he screamed. The warmth Rend had enjoyed now betrayed him by leaving him fully aware to each hit. Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620, Rend said once he was caught his breath. The man switched from the rubber hose to a nightstick like a baton. "Admit that you are an invader. Rend Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. His shin was hit. "Say that you are an invader," the man screamed. Rend Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. Jabbed in the stomach with the end of the bat. "If you admit it, I'll stop." Rend Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. The other shin took a hit. The man waved someone over. A large, olive-skinned man with a beard came over and squared up in front of Rend. He swung hard and connected with the side of Rend's head. "Rend Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. After what seemed like an eternity, Rend was placed back in a cold cement room. This time, he didn't fight the cold and fell asleep. He dreamt of his time in basic training. He hadn't been the first Kyrgyz to join the UEC Marines, but he was one of the few. He had a hard time, even with his personal heater. He never slacked off and never backed down, and by the end of basic, everyone in the platoon had accepted him. As a sniper, he had proved exceptionally adept. The ability to match ambient temperature, lie motionless, and move inhumanly slow had turned out to be an excellent match to his natural physiology. After proving himself in basic, and again in sniper school, Rend had spent several years operating in numerous missions in various systems, earning his place amongst his squad mates, and various accolades from his superiors. Rend had been on his way to a special training session. He was supposed to teach some of his techniques he used to the other Kyrgyz recruits of the UEC Marines that were hoping that they would become snipers. They were in practically empty stretch of industrial buildings when the vehicle was attacked. Being on Earth, there was no need for a caravan, and so the Humvee had been rolled solo. Rend had no idea what happened to the driver, or the Marines who had been escorting him to the training session. Rend woke up. He looked up at the swollen eyes and the surroundings. The furnace room again. Ren Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines 357895620. Admit that you are an invader and this doesn't have to happen. Ren Fulgris Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines 657895620. They beat him until he passed out. Rend woke up again. He was still tied to a chair. Tied to it again? He wasn't sure. They didn't ask him anything or make demands this time. They just hit him. They used clubs, hoses, fists. They poured scalding water all over him. Rend Fulgris, Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. Rend Fulgris, Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. Ren 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 Fulgris, Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895260. Blackness. Ren woke up again. He was cold in the cement room. The ache was somewhat suppressed, but he still couldn't move. He heard footsteps coming down the hall, louder than normal, the more feet than normal. He couldn't see. His eyes were swollen shut. The door opened and heavy footsteps came into the room. Ren Fulgris, Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620, he mumbled, past his thick tongue and broken teeth. At ease, Sergeant, the familiar voice, a warm blanket wrapped around him, and he was carried out of the room on a stretcher. Ren fell asleep. They what? They filmed the whole thing. They were trying to get him to confess to being an invader. Apparently, they are a group of xenophobes who thought allowing immigrants to stay on Earth was basically ceding it to aliens. What else is on the tape? General asked. 7 hours of Fulgris being tortured pretty brutally. He only ever says, Ren Fulgris, Sergeant, United Earth Combat Marines, 357895620. Are any of these xenophobes still alive? Asked the general. Several were captured. They are in custody and being interrogated. We are checking to see if there are any connections to the known terrorist groups or off-world government. Luckily, most of them decided to fight, so they got shot. How's our boy? The general opened up the file and looked at the medical report. The list of injuries was 2 pages long. He is going to need some time. Some surgeries alone will take about 1.5 years. Another 18 months for physical therapy, years of mental therapy, said the colonel. I don't care how. You fund every last bit. Take it from my check if you have to. I am going to go see him, clear my schedule and call my car around. General, do you think that's a good idea? He can't even stand. The man spent years carrying out his duty, defending the interests of his home planet, and then some pricking racist dipslits thanked him by breaking nearly every single bone in his body, and the only thing he did in response was declare his allegiance to the corpse. I would be ashamed of myself if I couldn't look at him in the face and apologize as soon as possible. If anyone even ever dares to question his loyalty to Earth or the corpse ever again, I am going to personally ram this medical report down their throats. Yes, sir, replied the colonel. Who cares what species he is or where his grandparents were born? Rend is one of us. And that, my friends, is the end of this Reddit Quickie. I hope that you enjoyed. If you'd like to support this channel, there are numerous ways to do so, listed in the description down below. The easiest and best way would be to share this video and my channel as much as possible. I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a good one until then. Cheers. P.S. With all the changes in YouTube recently, it has become more a case of when my account will get banned rather than if my account will be banned, the same as everyone else. If you look down below, there is a link to my SoundCloud account where everything gets backed up. I recommend that you follow that account just in case something happens to this account. Other than that, everything will still continue as normal. Thanks. Cheers.